I was feeling, okay, this is probably the biggest risk I'm going to take in my life, and I thought, but it's worth the risk.
Ladies and gentlemen, we could not be more excited to welcome you to the main event of our Saturday game day.
Yeah, the headliner.
The headliner of Saturday, day 2. This is night 2, depending on where you're at in the world. I'm bursting at the seams with this. This is something that we've been planning for a really long time and really excited to see it all go down. Is there anything? Did we miss trivia? Did we do a trivia question?
No, I don't think we did.
I just want to jump in. I don't want to think about anything else but what's about to happen. So if y'all would please in the chat give a huge welcome to Mr. David Levy.
Hello guys. Hello everyone.
What is up, David?
You doing good.
You can't hear it, but there's like 2,500 people roaring behind their computers somewhere.
No way. No pressure.
Well, you all in the chat, if you don't know, David, our very good friend, has been on just about every big favorite movie of the last 20 years with Star Wars, and he's on Avatar now. We're going to talk a little bit about TRON and Prometheus and Tomorrowland if we can get to it. But so, David, first off, thank you for being here. How you feeling?
Doing good. It's been quite a challenging year, but overall, I mean, the good aspect of it is I've been very close to my family through the whole thing. So I'm doing good, and I'm very happy. I'm very happy and feel very thankful to be here. Thanks to you guys.
I mean, you have one of the best, most positive attitudes, and I think right as the pandemic hit, I remember talking to you, and you were like, you know what? This is really wonderful to be home with my family. And I think that attitude, I remember as soon as I heard it was in April as everything was falling apart, and I was just like, yes, what a great perspective, and you have a really interesting lens on this. You used to live in LA, you did the whole racket here, working in the industry, and then you made a choice to move to North Carolina, right? What was that choice for you?
It was a very, very difficult choice because, we say when you're far from the eyes, far from the heart, I was feeling, okay, this is probably the biggest risk I'm going to take in my life, and I thought, but it's worth the risk. I want to be closer to my family. I don't want to have to drive an hour to go to work and then come back an hour. And I thought if the work is not working for me because of that, then maybe it's not the work that's meant to be for me. I had to find a balance somewhere. And after doing this job for 25 years, you're looking for different motivations in your life, I think,
I think that's, and far from the eyes, far from the height, far from the heart. It's so cool that at that pivotal point in your life, you went and said, hey, what's really important? What's closest to my heart, and prioritize. You have two young girls that you wanted to really get to focus and raise. What a cool move. And of course, work hasn't stopped for you. It's probably just accelerated over the last few years, right?
Yeah, so that's the thing that happened, is that I was so terrified about the fact that I was worried I was not going to have any work. I mean, especially in Hollywood. Now things have changed over the last 6 months, but before that, no one wanted to see you on a Zoom call. You had to be there or you were not hired, basically. And things have changed tremendously over the last 6 months, but because of that fear, what it triggered in me, I was like, you know what, instead of receding and trying to be afraid of what may come, I'm going to go ahead and forward. I'm going to create my own company. And I had created a company before, and then I had gone into the movie business, and I had closed that company. And I thought, okay, it's time to be my own boss again, and I started my company. And over the last 3 years, we've kind of exploded in a very positive way, not in a negative kind of explosion.
The artwork you're seeing on screen for those on Twitch is some of the work that David did for Star Wars. And, when you talk about pitch dev with your company, I mean, you didn't just, start a company and then try to get a couple jobs and see where it landed. I mean, you got Star Wars, which it's mind-blowing. Can you talk about what the evolution of pitch dev was? How did you start to attract work, and how did you grow that company?
So to be very clear, Star Wars happened right before I started pitch dev, So, but the way it worked is that over the many years, I've been in this industry, like I said, it's basically 25 years, going from games for 15 years and then to movies for another basically 15 years now, almost, not yet close. I've gathered a huge Rolodex, and people I know, people I've met, and more importantly, people I have enjoyed working with. You know, in this industry, if you're not too much of a dick, you know, if you work hard, you know, you'll be hired again. And that's kind of what happened. And when I created my company, I just made a Facebook post, you know, and because I have a lot of friends in the industry, I think the word went around, you know, and my first company, it took me 5 years to set it up and run it, you know, a good 5 years until we had like proper projects coming in. And this one, after 2 weeks, I got contacted for a project, and it started right there, you know. And actually, it was hard because I had to transition much faster than I thought I had. But like you guys know, you know, once if you jump before you have learn swimming, you know, you're gonna have to learn swimming as you go, you know. Kind of thing. So.
I love that. I mean, we could talk for days. I got so many questions about the individual projects, and we're going to be flipping through just a little bit of work from Ender's Game and TRON, and some of Prometheus. But I think we are given short time here today because we're going to be focusing on another thing. But from high level up, what can you say now, 25 years in of getting to be a concept artist, the guy who takes the page and makes the world out of it? What can you say is the importance of being a world builder to you?
Well, I mean, I think it's the name of the game. You know, I remember the first convention I went to, you know, and I had like a 1 minute talk, you know, and they allowed me to speak, you know, in front of other people for 1 minute, you know, and I was very happy. And the thing I said is that I'm really proud to be part of a tribe that design universes. You know, that's the first thing I said. And I think already many years ago, I realized that what we were doing was much more than just illustration. To me, concepting is more about design than it is by illustration. Illustration is a mean to an end, but design is the core of our job. And designing is about inventing something unique and new. And that's the name of our game in this industry is everything that we do should be unique as much as possible. You know?
That concept of tribe and community, I think, is so important. And to hear someone who's at the very tip of the spear like you are, and Sparth just before you said the same thing, that being part of this, you know, being a team member and listening and connecting with people is at the very center, the very salt of being a concept artist or being part of this industry. I think is just one of the most beautiful, powerful messages. We have a video here, which is the new Pitch Dev Studios, your company, the new show reel, and we were going to play it behind here while we talked, but the video is just so good. I thought let's take a quick look at that.
Sounds good.
Awesome. I mean, speaks for itself. So amazing. Darren Butler in the chat agrees. Yeah, I think Pitch Dev Studios is unbelievable and such a great example of creating without permission and stepping out. And we produce universes. What could be a sweeter tagline? But let's talk a little bit about what we're going to do today. So we know you've been directing too, and that's part of the nature of PDS. What are we going to be looking at today?
Well, I think what you said about the directing thing is that, I mean, the reason why I'm here today is because we had such a great connection just during a lunch a year ago at the Lightbox event, you know. And to me, as a concept artist, sometimes what's missing is even though we are the hub of a production, you know, it's I'm a very social person, you know, and sometimes being in front of my computer per day, sometimes 12 hours, you know, I don't get to be as social as I really enjoy. And I think directing offers that kind of things where you are actually, you're maybe a hub, but a different kind of hub, where you're connecting socially with people, like what we've done for this thing today, is that people have never worked with before in a very short time, because this was done in an extremely fast prototyping manner. In a very short time, we have to evaluate other people, try to communicate as much as possible in order to create a universe, to create an atmosphere, to create a direction that would basically be nice to look at,
Mm-hmm. And so this is going to be a demo of a original script by David called Scout 1. And tell us a little bit about what Scout 1 is to you, David.
Well, I mean, the thing that's amazing is you guys gave me that opportunity. I mean, Banks, you contacted me and you said, look, do you want to direct a demo for that event? I said, of course. And in the back burner, what we're doing in my company, aside from doing concept art, what we really focus on, I'd say that's 50% of our business now, is to create our own universes, And there's already a project called Moon Control that we're developing that's in production right now. And we had already a character, and I thought, well, we could do a spin-off. And in order to do that spin-off, I need like a core inspiration. And I thought, you know what, if I am a director, if I have any choice in the world, who would I want to work with? And I thought right away, if I am the director and I can choose the best sci-fi concept artist in the world, I'm picking up Sparth. So that's what I did. I called Sparth, and I say, hey, are you okay if we use one of your artwork, or two, and then we use that as an inspiration, as the base for a quick short film that we do with the Kitbash guys? He say, of course, yeah. He was super happy to share with us. And so I picked two images, the key images. We have like a ship and a station, and we took that as a base and a ramp to write a little script and then go from there.
And so the ideation behind this is how do we solve problems really fast? How does a director in real time get his vision out? And we saw a demo of this morning where Sava Zivkovic, using real time, was able to very quickly iterate solutions, taking a quick idea and moving a camera around. And today we have in our virtual green room waiting for us is Hussein Cornell from the Unity technical team, who will be representing a large group of artists from Unity who have helped position this so that we're going to get to see previz, or sexy previz, as we were calling it, happen in real time. How do we iterate ideas fast and solve problems, right?
That's something I understood, I would say, maybe like 10, 15 years ago, actually. I was working at Ubisoft with Sparth, actually, at the time, and we started creating like a new system of illustration using brushes, custom brushes. The name of the game nowadays in this industry is assets. If you have assets, you can create huge worlds. If you don't have assets, you don't have the tools and the means in order to create believable universes. And this is where the demo for me was very key and important and eye-opening, is that working with Kitbash gave me right away the power of asset. And then we have a place, Unity, where we can take all these assets and create a world in a very short amount of time. That's the idea.
Many people in the chat don't know, but we are so excited to help pitch dev in anything that you guys need. So without further ado, sorry, actually, a slight more ado. We have there were storyboards created that you drew up. And then we got an editor together who cut the storyboards, and we got Jake Eberly, who is both David and I's good friend, who's an unbelievable voiceover artist. He's from Assassin's Creed. Also, he's the voice of Boeing and Maker's Mark, the ultimate seafaring space traveler voice. And so we started working on this process of how do we take how do we get ideas out quickly, and storyboards that David drew up were the fastest way to do that. And we put them together in a little video that we'll show now, and then the demo team with David are gonna show how they can make those shots happen real fast. And then tomorrow we're actually gonna pull it all together and premiere it. Was that all the ado I needed, David? Did I miss anything?
Yeah, no, I think that's great. And regarding the storyboard, I want to say that the storyboard was done in a way that's very rough, as to in some ways full of respect and creative respect for everybody that works on the team, that they are coming up with the world as much as I am coming up with the world. And it's the combination of the work of everybody that creates a fantastic result, basically.
So let's check out the Storyboards video. This was edited by Alex Scheip, and we'll dive into that. You'll see Jake Everly in the corner.
Hydra Control, requesting access to enter atmosphere.
Request accepted. Sector 0513. Good luck and be safe.
Engaging entry procedure. Get you on the other side, over.
Roger.
Be good to me. Let's see how this one goes. Showtime. Sweetheart. Come on, hold steady. I've done this before. Scout 1 to Hydra. Entry successful. Heading to meeting point.
Roger.
That wasn't so bad. Okay. Where are you? Come on. I know you're there. Widen the beam. Gotcha. I have a ping.
Roger. On standby.
Wow. Look at that. Found it. Sending coordinates for the beam. Passage is cleared. I'm going in.
Be safe. Rendezvous at 1200.
Roger.
All right, there y'all have it, the storyboards, and please welcome Hussein Cornell. He's over that way from the technical team.
How's it going, guys and gals out there?
Guys and gals doing quite well here. Incredibly excited for this. We've been waiting weeks for this action. Hussein, tell us a little bit about how this looks from your side. What was the work that's involved that brought us up to where we are today?
So first of all, it was you guys getting a hold of us, and we're like, yeah, let's do this. And then we got these really cool boards. You can see kind of the first boards that we got from David here. So we had some of the layouts and shapes, and we're like, okay, what do these kits look like? Because I had never worked with Kitbash, and I was kind of worried at first. I was like, oh my gosh, is this going to work? And you sent me little codes. I downloaded my things. I started bringing them in, and I'm like, oh my gosh, this is so easy, so fast. So I guess what we have for you guys today is kind of showing you guys how we went through that. And we had a team of 7 or 8 other people here at Unity that, each one did their own thing. And working with David was amazing because he gave us a lot of leeway. I think he mentioned that earlier, where he gave us kind of the outline, the feel, and the look, but then he also let us be part of that building of this universe, of this Sparth universe. So we had fun while he also had fun seeing what we came up with. So we all, and there were some artists they just took it their way and were like, oh, that looks cool. Let's keep it. So that's this journey.
Huge shout out in the chat to Alet, who he goes, Hussein into house, which also looks like house into house if you check it out. Alet's from the Unity technical team, and without him, we could not have made what you're seeing possible. Thank you immensely.
I just want to throw it out to Unity too. You know, we just started building kits for specifically in Unity. And this started a couple months ago as we were making this move into game engines, and we started working with the Unity team, who is so supportive in helping us figure out, okay, what is the ideal way to set up assets for Unity users? And I think because of their help with this, what ended up happening is our team, who weren't too familiar with Unity, started to QC kits in Unity and started going, hey, these look really good right out of the box here. And all of a sudden, I just saw a ton of our artists working in Unity as their like primary place of like, if we're going to just check something out with a kit, I watch them open up the Unity file to check something out, because it's just like so fast and looks so good. And now we're kind of hooked on it. So I think it's an amazing technology, and the things that you can do from a cinematic perspective are incredible. And I'm excited to see what these two come up with.
So with that, Hussein, let's take this away. We're going to sit back and enjoy this bowl of popcorn here in this Unity demo.
Awesome. So the very first thing that we had to do is we had to figure out the scale and get everything set up before we started bashing. So we said, okay, the first thing we want to do is come up with the ship. So we took this concept art. I'm going to zoom in real quick. And then we took the liberty, one of our, Elliot, took the liberty, one of our team members on Alet's team, just, got some other artwork and like, okay, let's see what would look cool. This was kind of the plan, was to make something similar to that. So the first thing we had to do is let's take a look at these ships. So let me turn on these ships and let me show you what these ships kind of look like. So this is part of the spaceship Kitbash, and you can see there are tons of parts that you guys can just pick and choose. You don't have to pick a whole ship. You can grab each little asset. It's in prefabs, if you know Unity, and they come textured. This is for HDRP, and I believe they offer them in just about everything. And let me turn on my final. And this was the final that we ended up bashing together. And I'm just gonna spin it around so you guys can kind of see what this looks like. We took the liberty to change some of the textures. So if you notice that ours are white, we did very little on the material changing. It was just basically make it fit that ice world. What I just showed right here, just so you guys get to see, I did nothing other than grab those. That's the sci-fi pack, and I just threw it in there. We used a lot of these assets, and just how quickly they just drop in, and you're like, oh my gosh, that's an awful lot of things. And I love the way they're modular. They fit really well, and we can bring a lot of them in. There is no chugging, so kudos on making really, really good assets that are very, very easy to work with. So back to our boards, we made the ship. I don't know if you want to say anything about it there, David.
No, that's it. I mean, what I talked about earlier on, is like, why not take best concept artist, and use as a base of inspiration what he had created, So that's we started with this, when in terms of designing and for more of the 3D environment. What's important in design is proportions, And once you have your proportions, I consider that details is kind of like the icing on a cake, It's what makes things feasible. But the most important part is design. And what Sparth is amazing at is composition and design. If you look at that image, that kind of structure, we really based. First of all, I talked with Hussein, and I say, look, what's very important is to keep those proportions. Now, when it comes to the detail, let's use just the Kitbash stuff, and I completely trust you with it, and that's exactly what happened. So I built that little, I call it the ice cream cone, or microphone, it's kind of like a microphone too. But if you look carefully, I mean, the proportions are very carefully following the proportion that Sparth had created. And then from there, you want to take on, Hussein?
We brought these quick little proportions, of course, David made, and we said, okay, let's start making it. If we remember the boards here, there is this, I don't know if it's showing, oh, there it is, a little lag, but we have a area that is kind of a platform where SCART 1 is going to land. So we're like, okay, let's start with that and then build from there. Where is this platform going to exist? So we said, okay, let's make this platform. So we bashed it out, and let me turn on the platform and zoom in to my landing platform. So this, just to let you guys see, this is heavy metal. I think there are some pieces from, and sorry, I am totally destroying it there, David. Okay.
No!
So you guys can see very quickly, we were just able to bash this together.
It's a secret. No, we built it. It took us many months to build. Come on.
So very, very quickly, I mean, who would have guessed, right, that I've got, you know, we could make some really cool little animations that I've got pistons underneath here that could actually lift and go down. But let me go Control Z before, you know, David, my door. There we go, back to normal. So we've gotten this down, and I have, you know, all the lighting off. I have the atmospheric stuff off. So right now it's just blocking. We're not distracted by anything. It's just quick bashing. We were not bashful on that. I know I have to. That's my line for today. So back to building this microphone ice cream. So, you know, we had our station, and then we decided, and let me turn off the blockout, and you can start seeing that this is 99.9% kit bashed. Again, I just have pieces of kit bash. I think this is one of the spaceships. This is part of heavy metal, some of the science ones, etc. I mean, they have a lot of fun stuff.
And I want to jump in there to say like how important, and that's something I've learned actually doing that demonstration, is that if you can get all those details fast, it actually changes the way you look at shot framing. You know, we knew the shots that we needed, and we started putting cameras in and stuff like that. But having like an antenna in a specific position, it's an emulation of filming with real camera. You know, and behind me I have a bunch of cameras. I love cameras. I love lenses. And when you go into that world, you're basically a filmmaker scouting your environment. And being able to scout your environment at that early stage really allows you to choose frames, to choose proper angles, to have an antenna on the right, to frame your ship with a block on the left and things like that. So I just really wanted to jump in and say that basically, because it's so important and something I've learned during that demonstration.
So now that we've got this this built, we're like, okay, now let's get the feel of this of this environment. So we're going to turn on the lighting, and we can start seeing, okay, this feels a little bit better. And then we did some fun atmospheric stuff, which I actually have to turn on. Woo! And I have to turn off the blocking. So very quickly, with some of the HDRP things that we have, we were able to, you know, create some really cool clouds, create the environment, you know, and put this I don't know what we call it, space station in the planet that it lives in that space.
Yeah, what I want to emphasize is the fact that this was done thanks to the whole Kitbash system was done basically. I mean, we went from the ice cream cone to this like basically over a few hours, you know, and that flexibility and that speed is really important.
Yeah, I mean, it was super fast. As you said earlier, having assets is definitely the game changer. Having assets that are ready to just basically drag and drop. And the next important part that I think is super cool was the fact that we got to, see how awesome David directs. And very quickly we worked together.
You're too kind. You're way too kind.
Dude, but it was fun. It was super fun. I think, when you said, one of the things you mentioned earlier, like, not being a dick was like the greatest thing. And I'm like, wow, this guy's so fun to work with. He is so like human. So, props on that end. Here we have you're an awesome human.
I'll send you the check as soon as we're done.
So here is
that's very good.
This was the scene I couldn't find before, but here it is. So this is our first shot. This is our what's this guy's name? I believe Marcel.
Right now it's Marcel, yeah, because we thought it'd be a cool name.
So Marcel is in his cockpit, and he's coming down. And if you guys remember the board we just read, and right now it looks pretty dull. So I know that I was asked that to put a little bit of noise in this and make it feel a little bit more live. So I'm just going to solo this, and we were able to put in a little bit of a handheld mile, just kind of cool. But just be aware that if we want to make Marcel kind of go crazy and need a doggy bag, we can definitely pump it up and
vomit bag.
I mean, we can go crazy. I don't even know if you guys can see that because of internet lag. I wouldn't.
No, we can see it.
About that.
Yeah, that reads.
That adds a little more realism. The other thing I'm going to do is I'm going to turn on my lighting so you guys can get to see some really the reflections, etc. And back into our camera shot, there were a few other things that we wanted to do. One was that we really wanted to make sure that we were in line with the storyboard. So we've got this really cool feature where we can look at the storyboard, and we can actually swipe through and make sure that we're staying on target. If this is what the director wanted, I can quickly show, hey, I've got it lined up. We're ready to go.
Yeah, that's correct. Yeah,
yep.
Go ahead.
Then we have.
One of the first thing that, like when I jumped in and I worked with the same, first thing I said, okay, first of all, let's frame this 235. If we want to look cool, if we want to have a cool framing, let's go 235. Because everybody knows that 235 is much more fun than 16:9.
And I just made a very quick 235 to 100 is 235 to 1. It's just, I just made a really quick, you can add as many as you want. And there we go. Now we've got it framed up and we're good to go. Thank you for the reminder.
That's okay.
That does look a lot cooler.
That's exactly right. And that's what I find fascinating about directing is that directing is a lot like cooking, like in those cooking shows, where you mix a lot of elements, a lot of spices and stuff like that. But it's the combination of those at the right time and the right moment, at the right with the right sound, with the right music, and everything starts to come together. And the thing that's amazing when you're working with a team like the Unity guys, is that everybody is bringing a little bit of their expertise, piece by piece, and then suddenly you in a few hours you see, oh wow, okay, this feels more like a story now.
Mm-hmm.
So, and that's what we're going to show. We're going to show all the elements that, as we were discussing, we spent like a whole morning with the same chatting about every shot, with Danny as well, and like including like depth of field, for example, right away focuses us onto the pilot,
I just want to show this really cool feature off on how we can kind of render out where that depth of field is going to be. So you can really quickly set your shot up. If you're in blue, well, of course, you're going to be in focus. If not, you won't be. If you see this white or red, it's not going to be in focus. Just a really cool option that we have in our debugging tools. So just wanted to show you that. And, we talked about trying to make this feel better. I can add all sorts of overrides here that do all sorts of things. I can add I can add ambient occlusion. I can add a lot of post-processing effects that in old school, I used to come from VFX, where I'd have to wait. Like depth of field was a very expensive process if I was in Maya, having to render that out. And here we're getting it real time. And no, I don't want anything at the moment. I want to
And
go.
for example, I mean, what was great about the flexibility of those tools is that right away, I felt at home and I thought, okay, well, this is a camera. I wasn't thinking anymore, we're in the digital world or anything. Okay, with that lens, if we have a long lens, let's have a proper depth of field. If we are with that lens in the interior, well, maybe we're gonna have some vignetting, okay? If we're here, maybe we can raise the contrast, we can raise the value of the vignetting, when we're inside, so that when we are outside, it creates a contrast with a very bright and airy and windy environment,
So yeah, I just kind of did some changes just to illustrate. I don't know what my actual values were. We did some color adjustment, some contrast. You can kind of see what that was. But
yeah, that's good actually. If you leave it
okay,
leave it like that. That's
I'll leave it like that. I know. I'm playing at the moment.
Yeah.
We also talked about adding some bloom and adding a kind of a lens dirt on the camera. This probably is a little bit too high. I can turn that down, and so forth. And again, I still have this solo. Now I do. We can start seeing kind of how that plays out. We have some flicker of the lighting inside of that ship, affecting the way he looks. And again, this is very, very fast, as we call it, sexy previz.
Exactly.
And I know that we better go on to the next shots. If
Yes.
not, we're going to run out of time here.
How much more time do we have, Banks?
We've got time. You guys explore. We're having a blast here.
So here's this shot. I should let it play out. That way, you guys could see kind of how that works. You tell me where you want me to stop, and we can edit.
Yeah, I mean, where we can go on this one. No, this one needs a little more contrast. Actually, it looks like you added contrast already. So I think it was brighter before.
Actually, we don't even have one here. We're gonna add an override, and we're gonna come here, and we're going to.
Actually, I saw that you had just if you go back, I saw that you had exposure. And I usually tend to prefer working with exposure compared to contrast, but it's up to you if you want to use.
Either way. We did have depth of field here.
Yeah, that helps as well.
And I think I might have turned it up a little bit too much, but again, we can go back to debug and we can set it if we want. But okay, we can add bloom.
Yeah, that's what we talked about. When it comes to outside, to add the bloom is going to help a lot with the fact that it feels really bright.
And then of course we could add the contrast saturation if you wanted. We could go in and saturate. Is this okay? There we go. You can definitely see it's subtle, but it's there. Sometimes we can go really crazy, or we can go just subtle on it.
Yeah, well, and in here, we don't have a lot of texturing, so of course, the saturation is not going to show up much. But,
the other thing that's cool here is that if I go up here and I can solo this, we can again go to our noise node, and we can start bumping up some of this frequency if we want to make it feel a little bit different, or if we want to, as you can see, this is normal extreme, or we can do a wide angle. We didn't talk about cameras yet. We can do we
have motion blur on this one, or? Oh, no.
We do have motion blur. No, I do not have motion blur on this.
Because it feels very harsh, yep. And that's one thing that will make a big difference.
So, just have to remember where my motion blur is, and we can bring this up, and you can start seeing it working a little bit. I'll put that on high. Why not?
Yeah, I would go super high. I think if we're with the screen shake, yeah.
Yeah, I think we have to actually play it out in running it on solo.
Got it.
Really do me. I'd have to play the whole shot, but we will play the whole shot if we get through this in time.
Yep. Yeah. That's okay. That's.
So as you guys can see very quickly, I'm not moving to the next shot because of course I soloed this one. So let me unsolo it, or Han Solo it. And
Hussein, man, with him.
Let me double click on this bad boy here. And I've got to thank one of my guys, one of our team members, Danny Ayub, who helped out a lot with setting up these shots. So props. And I believe we did some depth of field on this one. We did some bloom. You can start seeing how it's already doing some changes.
Is there any way we can look at it again from the beginning, just so we have a feel for the succession of the shots?
Yeah, I will just play them and then stop it right there.
Yeah, that shot. Yep.
There we go. Hey, stop.
So yeah, let's jump to that shot.
Okay, let's jump to this one. I know this one want to do a lot of fun stuff.
Yeah. So one thing that was really excited about is playing with the lenses. Lenses can communicate a lot of information. So let's say we go with it's already at 11. But when we started, you want to show it at 30, maybe something like that. This is kind of where we were at the beginning. I thought, well, you know what? In that shot, we used the depth of field trick a lot, So let's go to like a very extreme FOV, and let's go maybe to 16 or 12 or something like that, Let's go to even more crazy, like something like 10, okay? And I thought, okay, that's great. But I asked out of curiosity, I was like, is there any way we can have barrel distortion in there? And they're like, yeah, of course. So that was kind of a really happy moment for me.
And now we can, go crazy.
If you want to go 2001 Space Odyssey style.
Yeah. My mouse went crazy. I got this crazy gaming mouse. Again, vignetting. We added some here, and we can have fun. I don't remember which one you said. I think we added motion blur on this one. We wanted to tone down some of the ambient occlusion, so we put an override so it wasn't as crazy. Yep. We can also, we can change that, which is really cool with the volumes framework inside of HDRP and Unity. We can set, each camera can have its own full set of parameters. So every camera can have its own depth of field, its own color correction, it's everything. So that's really, really powerful. And then we have our depth of field here. And we're going to solo this one really quickly.
Oh, yeah, and this one needed a lot of contrast, I would say.
Yes. And
vignetting and contrast.
Yep. Do I actually have a color correction node on here? I don't think I do. Oh, we need to add that one.
Try the exposure. I'm curious about the exposure.
Okay.
Let's improvise.
No problem. Right now, we have it on fixed, and I think I'm going to go to use physical camera, and I think I got to go the other way.
Yes.
Yeah, there we go.
Awesome. Cool. That's pretty cool.
That looks pretty sweet. I like it. And again, we can also we can use both. We can add contrast to this as well, and have the exposure node. So it looks like we do have exposure as part of that.
Oh,
node.
okay, cool. So yeah, maybe I would remove the other one.
Yeah, we can just pull this one out and just use. There we go. There we go. As I said, there's many ways to skin a cat, but please don't go skinning cats just because I said that.
No. No.
Hussein with the zingers.
Bad. So, all right, I'm going to save this. So just in case something happens, we can go back and play this. Are we cool on this shot? I'm just looking at
totally. Let's move on for sure.
Okay, very cool. So, again, I've Han soloed it. Down you go, and here we are. So this
that's great.
I love this shot right here.
That's really cool.
So this is our reveal of ice cream cone.
Well, now it's not an ice cream cone anymore. Now it's a badass platform.
There we go. There we go. And I don't remember what we did on this shot.
So, and you guys have seen the storyboard, So I would raise the contrast as well again, because because we want to really have like a difference of atmosphere between the inside and the outside. Really feel like the outside is overly bright, I'm
not sure what way I should be going.
Yeah, that's fine. Oh, that's fine. Yeah.
Okay.
It's already better, so that's cool. That's perfect. Yep.
Awesome. And again, we can add noise. I believe this one does have a little bit of noise, not as much, but we, again, can go very crazy if we wish.
Let's not do that.
I'm itchy to go.
Because everyone who's like behind their computer right now is like, oh God.
Like, stop it, Hussein, you're making me get sick. All right, so we're gonna unsolo and we're gonna keep on going. And then we have
that's my favorite, one of my favorite shots here. That's my number 2 shot. Because this really sells the design, and I love all these accidents that happen, with the antennas right next to the sphere, creating a cast shadow. We can even recompose the shot. Let's say we want to be, can we move the sphere a bit more to frame right, frame right up,
Yeah, definitely.
And I know you guys have like a framing tool as well. I was very impressed of. And this is great as well to see with the storyboard,
Yeah, I could have done that on every shot. I think I just kind of didn't do it.
Yeah.
But we can definitely, I think I have to add under composer, I have to lock it to something. So I have to add a aim to it.
It's okay. Let's not do that on this one.
Okay. All right. I think I have one set up for it, but it's
okay,
fine.
Cool. Awesome.
But I think with this one, we did a little bit of depth of field, and we didn't do much. I think this one, we just liked it. You're just like, oh, it's nice. All right. So moving on, I'll save that. And now we're coming in. That's just a really quick shot, so we get to see the landing platform where he's going to go. And let me see, what did we do here on this shot?
You guys, the things that we already kind of customized a lot of the shots. This one, I remember, didn't have a dolly move, and it looks like you guys did it last night. It looks really cool.
Yep.
That's awesome.
Just to make it feel a little better, because it was basically a completely still shot when we first did it. And we just
exactly. And what's great is that here, with a little bit of perspective, it really sells the size and the scale of that platform, it really feels like something massive. And the pilot now feels very tiny, and it adds so much to the mood, So that's great. And that's my number 1 favorite shot. It's just so cool. And that's a really a testament to the tools we use with the Kitbash libraries, that sphere with the framing, with the antennas and stuff like that, it was literally out of the box. We just moved the camera. It took us really 2 minutes to set up the camera, and then that was it. And you want to explain what you're showing right now, Hussein, with the framing?
Yeah. So I've made the ship my kind of my aim. So I've added it to the aim. So now what I can do is use our composer from Cinemachine to be able to then recompose this shot, and we can start seeing that now that's going to be kind of our focus point. So very quickly, I can reframe and decide where that's going to be just from my view. So that's a really cool tool. In Director, where do you want it?
I would definitely add a depth of field on this one, because we really want the foreground to go super soft, and really focus on the ship. Perfect. That's exactly it. And
I don't know what else we did. I think this one we kind of kept this way. I'm going to turn off my my handles here so we can kind of see what the shot feels like.
Awesome. Can we play it from the top?
Yeah, let's play it from the get-go and then stop at shot 9. Here we go.
Yeah, the smoke is that shot I really like. I think works really well. Screen check there, excellent. More contrast, great. Yeah, and it's really amazing to be able to put this together as fast as we did. It's really, for me, as a concept artist and director, it's like being a kid in a candy store. I have tons of toys, that were given to me by you guys, and then I just put them together using one of the best sci-fi concept artists in the world. That was a blast for me, Just want to say that.
It's so cool to see that now we can use game engines for this type of filmmaking, and it feels almost like an editing session or a music recording session. But to be able to do that with, 3D worlds and animation and changing cameras, and even things like adding motion blur, which previously, if you had asked for motion blur, anyone who has to hit render is like, oh God, that's a whole thing. And now it's a check of a box. It's really incredible to watch.
Fully agree. On this one, for example, I would say no depth of field because we're using a wide angle lens, and usually there's very but if we can, since we're very close to the ground and there's probably some dust kicking in and stuff like that, is there any way we can have like a dirt map onto the lens, some dirt onto the lens?
Yes, we can actually. I mean, we can add the bloom, which allows us to put a dirt map on, and I can just get a texture. And I believe I can just get I don't have many, so all I have are these two for right now. But
that's great. That's perfect. That's perfect. It doesn't matter. You don't need tons of them as long as it's the right one. And I would just kick the hell out of that dirt map so that it should really be super strong.
My threshold down. I just put this at 0.2, and then my intensity. I think I went up too far. And
it just needs to be the intensity of the dirt map underneath.
Oh yeah. All right. I'm like, what's going on?
Yeah. You can put this one to 0.
Yeah.
So I would raise it even more. No, let's go. Can we do twice more than that?
Yes,
because we're right next to a freaking jet engine. I want to see some serious dirt map on there. Well, here we go. Now we're talking. Cool. Yeah. Great.
I'm not holding back. You want me to go crazy? I will go
crazy. The thing. I mean, and that's the thing that's amazing about being able to work with these tools is that it's like music. It's like composing music. As director, you go at some time you want things to be quiet. You don't want the camera movement on every shot. You want some cameras to be static, and then you don't want dirt map on every shot. You want to use them at your best advantage in order to tell the best story. And the story we're trying to tell here is really kind of, we want to put the viewer into that universe and make it as believable as possible, and because the atmosphere here is to get the guy that comes and visits a platform. His job is just to clean up some stuff to make sure that everything functions right. They're going to have to open the platform for him, but who knows what awaits him behind that door. That's the whole idea. And to be able to tell that story, we really have to use all those subtle tools that make it very believable and immersive, I would say.
Yep. One of, let me unsolo my shot again. So Clive Downey from Unity, one of the terms he uses is evergreen, and I always like that. Is when you're using real-time 3D, and I think this is evergreen because we can change it all the time. It's not a render that's still. It's basically I have all these knobs and I can just play.
And I mean, when I come from speed painting, which was a technique of painting very rapidly and doing concepts at high speed and whatever. To me, I would really call that speed directing. The fact that you are able to go into a world, bring all these assets, decide your camera shots just like over the course of a day, is mind-boggling to me. And it's, once again, the whole idea, and that's how I feel with the Kitbash stuff, is that it's so much fun, and that's what every production should be. We all know it's not always like that, but it's tons of fun. So.
Well, there we go. This is really far away. I was trying to get the focus just right. Or not focus, but my depth of field. I guess it is the focus.
It is the focus, yep.
Yep. So end, we'll end at the end, and then we'll start. And then far blur, this one I'll set at like 90. And this one has to go farther back, 120, and there we go. So maybe about like that.
Yeah, let's see how it looks like.
There we go. And this is just such an awesome tool because me trying to look at it visually, I'd be like, I don't know what I'm doing. So
that's cool. It looks like a tilt shift camera a little bit, like those micro. I think it's cool actually.
All right.
It's yeah.
And that's what I love about this. You can just play around and very quickly, that looks sweet. All right, so let me go back to my timeline. And this isn't soloed, is it? Nope. Anything else you want to do on this shot?
No, I think the one previous needed to have the depth of field on as well because it's a very long lens.
Oh, we skipped this one. Look at that.
Super long lens.
Yeah. Keeping me honest here. I totally did. So on this one, we since I already did the debug mode here, I won't do it on this one. But yeah, we added this.
So I'm curious, out of curiosity, I'm gonna scare you because I'm gonna improvise even more. Like that antenna that's right on the left, is it possible to just move that guy? Like, right. Can we move it in the shot, or do we have to be outside of the shot?
Yeah, well,
that's perfect.
We move it out of the shot, but we can view it live. Which antenna are we talking about now?
The one that's right next to the ship on the left, I'm just wondering, that's out of curiosity, if I wanted to reframe the shot, how difficult would that be?
Figure out which antenna that is, and then I can, so is it this guy?
Yeah, that's the one.
Where would you want it?
That's cool. Yeah, excellent. That's perfect here.
Here?
No, a little further to the left. Camera left.
Okay.
Yeah, we're a little more to the right. Okay. Yeah, and then can we slide the whole shot to the left?
All right. So I got to grab the camera in this instance, and which is my camera number.
And I know all these things can feel very subtle or whatever, but here, what I'm trying to do with that framing is actually more uncomfortable than the one that was there before. But the whole idea is that what I'm trying to say with a very subtle antenna movement is that we're getting kind of close to like an area of danger. And this, of course, is not really clear right now because we just have images. But once the sound is here, once the music is here, the tension would be even more palpable, and moving an object just to the right at 50 centimeters or 1 meter, sorry, feet when you're in America, sorry guys, it can make a huge difference into the storytelling that you're trying to achieve,
I think my camera's locked.
That's okay, it's okay.
It's all right.
Yeah, it's okay, we can move the antenna back.
Yeah, I have like a read-only.
That's fine, that's really cool.
Not allowed to.
Yeah, a lot of the things that we're doing right now have to be kind of scripted a little bit as well so that we don't destroy everything too quickly.
I know. It's fun, though.
Because I will break your stuff. I will break it. I'm very good.
I know, you've been breaking it all along, but it's that's been the fun part about it. There, everything wants
back up.
There you guys get to. There we go. I want full screen.
Cool. So yeah, we can move to the next shot. And that's the final shot. Yeah, I'd say with this one, let's go even closer to his head with the FOV. If we can change the FOV. Like I love that. Actually, the reflection would have to fake it to be back.
Yeah, to be right on.
But that's the idea.
So.
Yeah, exactly. Something like that. That's perfect.
Okay. And I think on this one, yeah, some of them I went back and I took off some of our options, but as you guys can see, kind of how that shot. And I think did we do any color correction on this one? I think we did when we were doing our.
Well, it's all good. I mean, we should jump to the other shot because it's It's my third favorite shot.
Let's get to the shot, dude.
Here we go.
Oh, I'm skipping.
That's cool. That's cool. So the whole idea at that moment is that the entrance to the platform is closed, and I'm a huge fan of Akira, like most people my age, Yeah, I'm showing my age. But the things that in Akira, I really love those laser that come from the satellite, and we were really trying to achieve the same kind of feel. And so I talked to Hussein about that. I was like, yeah, it'd be cool, but I understand we're super pressed. We just have like 1 or 2 afternoons, to do this thing. So is it okay? It's okay. Just a cylinder with light is fine. It's like, okay. The day after they came back with this, I was like, oh, yes.
So this is my buddy Andy Touch, and he basically did a trick. He's using a spotlight, and he's using visual effects graph. And very quickly, what's cool about visual effects graph that you don't have to be a scripter. It's a node-based VFX editor, similar to if you're used to Houdini or Nuke, where you just grab and throw nodes together. Very quickly, he knocked this out of the park, and I love it. He also used our shader graph in the next shot, which which you guys will see.
And I have nothing to say about that shot. It's just
okay.
I love it. I want this to be my poster.
And then we used on this thing that is blocking the entranceway, we used our shader graph to do that really cool dissolve of that thing. I should just play it, right?
Yeah, play it, yeah.
Let's just play the whole thing. That way we can see it.
I can do the sound effects.
Oh yeah.
And that's something that's very important to talk about. Is that after this demo is done, we have already all the sound effects that are set up, and that's something that was very interesting. That you can set the sound effects per shot, oh, that's working great. I love that succession of shots. That's excellent. Perfect. Yeah, and the guys at Kitbash are preparing like an edit that's gonna basically bring everything together. I'm really excited. The sound effects that Jake did and the voices. And by the way, my wife is doing the computer voice. Kudos to my wife that I recorded in the car just 2 nights ago. The microphone.
To the nature of of create without permission, make something fast. Pull out your phone and record some VO and get it into the project, so then everyone can have it, and then everyone who's working on things can understand faster and faster what you're trying to achieve.
Yeah, and that's something that's incredible nowadays as well. I do have a bunch of microphones here, but the microphone that I tend to use is the one that's the most practical. I have one of those Shure microphones. It's a tiny microphone that goes into the new iPhone, and the recording quality is mind-boggling, And that goes to exactly what you just talked about, the speed iteration, the fast iteration, but for the voice, for the images, for everything, and then boom, the gate opening is revealed here.
Mm-hmm. So I am sorry. The first time we played it, I had that turned off.
Yeah,
that's what happens when you're quickly iterating. You got to remember, oh, I need that. But we didn't do depth of field in this shot or anything.
No, that's fine. That's totally fine.
All right, I think we did have it. Whoa, not that much. It's fine.
It's fine without it, to be honest.
And then we went to this shot here. And then, as you know, we were going really quickly. We have a character which isn't rigged, so we couldn't quite show him walking around.
And that's totally fine. When we are into production mode, that kind of shot, the storyboard integrated into an animatic, a previz shot or whatever, it's totally acceptable and totally. People in the industry know the process, and they know that things are temporary and things like that. So I like it actually when there's shots like that, a mix of storyboarding, and it really helps with the choices and the opening that we can do. We can show that to the animator. The animator can decide the timing based on that shot and things like that.
Yeah, I think that in the nature of having a storyboard video right out the gate helps so much with everyone getting to look at the feel of timing and understand where things are going to play, and then you can be making changes the whole way along. And then, as David was saying, our editor Alex Scheip is going to drop in the shots into the storyboards, the ones that get pushed, so that we can continue to see. And this is the same process that we use to make our 4.0 cinematic. And honestly, I'll never make another video without this process again. Having the edit as early on as possible that you can continually iterate, I think is so helpful. Even if it has, a foot with an arrow going there, it gives you a sense of what you're trying to achieve.
Cool. Actually, less exposure like you did was pretty good, actually. Yeah, that's much better. Yeah, keep it like this. Yeah.
As you can see, I'm just playing, guys, and that's what I love about working with David. That he lets us play, and then fun things happen.
I am a huge believer in accidental design, and accidental directing, I guess, because when you're directing even like the short films, like the ones we do in live action with our company, things change all the time. We're supposed to shoot something outdoor, and then the rain is here. Well, how can we integrate that? And that's one of the biggest lessons I've learned actually when I worked on Prometheus. I was extremely lucky to work right next to my idol, Ridley Scott, And the biggest lesson I learned from that project is the fact that directing and making movies and making a lot of creative endeavors is a very organic process. You can't be too rigid about things. You have to be welcoming new things in order for your project to become more unique, you know. But in order to get to that result, you need to have the tools very flexible at your hand, you know. And nowadays, the cameras that we have, you know, I have one of the cameras that I have with me here, is a full frame camera that you can buy for $1,000, you know. And with that can create amazing accidents because the visuals are always going to be perfect. And that's what's happening with the Kitbash stuff, is that if you have the object that's already textured, modeled, with a proper polygon flow and things like that, then you will end up with a result that is stunning, even though accidental. And the organicity is what's so important, I feel, about this process.
So I was just going through and showing what this looks like. We also have little stars in the background, which you can, when you see the final edit, you'll get to see the cool little touches that some of the team put in here. But just really quickly, I wanted to show kind of how we started. I mean, this was it. And in a matter of, I mean, it was very, very quick that we then had this, right? So props to David for the awesome directing, and Sparth for the awesome artwork to go after, and Kitbash for giving us stuff that we can really, really quickly make a really awesome story out of.
And to Unity and the amazing team that you guys had putting this thing together, and the amazing technology that you guys are building that's helping to empower artists and filmmakers and game designers everywhere to be able to, you know, take their ideas and really execute them quickly and at the highest level of quality.
Yeah. Guys, that is the time we've got on this. We are going to Hussein is going to be kicking out these shots that are going to be dropped into that storyboard video that you saw, and we will be premiering the final push of this thing tomorrow morning after, I don't recall what part it's in the schedule, but it is in tomorrow morning. I believe it is right after our first demo. It'll be somewhere in the morning. Don't miss it, though. And David and Hussein, we can't thank y'all enough for the immense amount of effort and preparation that went into making this thing, as well as your incredibly sunny dispositions here joining us today. Thank you, guys. Thanks for having us.
Yep, thank you. Appreciate it.
People in the chat, be a thunderous applause, please. I think this was amazing. Gentlemen, we'll see y'all again very soon. Reach out to us if there's anything we can do in the meantime.
Sounds good. Have a good one.
Bye.